All right, former President Trump making his case to third-party voters, urging libertarians to ditch their party and get behind him instead.
So what is the purpose of the Libertarian Party getting 3%? What is the reason to take a chance of having this horrible president destroy our country, which he will do in far less than 4 years? That is why I'm committing to you tonight that I will put a libertarian in my cabinet and also libertarians in senior posts. If we unite, we are unstoppable. I will be a true friend to libertarians in the White House.
Fox News contributor and former Congressman Jason Chaffetz joins us now. You know, so Jason, let's address the obvious right there. You can hear some of it in the audio from President Trump. It was not 100% positive reception there from the libertarians.
I love that Donald Trump actually does that. So Joe Biden's over taking a nap in Delaware, and there's Donald Trump fighting for votes. The reality is there's only two people that are going to become the next president of the United States. Is it going to be Joe Biden? Is it going to be Donald Trump? So Donald Duck has a better chance of becoming president than whoever the libertarians put up there. But you got to court those votes. And I'm a conservative Republican. That's how I view myself. Real strong libertarian streak. Small government, want to get government out of our lives, smaller government, freedom, liberty. These are things that resonate. That's why I think he's there to attract them rather than going to RFK Jr., who is, quite frankly, he's a big government liberal.
No, it's not unlike, you and I were just talking about this, it's not unlike Donald Trump going to the Bronx.
Right.
There's something that he is clearly doing, because you can know before you go to the Libertarian Conference, this will probably not be 100% positive reception.
Right.
Look, libertarians define themselves in a lot of ways, yes, ideologically, but also by being different. They like being, not a Republican and not a Democrat. So by going in as the Republican candidate, you are setting yourself up for some certain amount of rejection. And whether or not it's the Bronx or with the libertarians, Donald Trump says, yeah, let's do it. I'm going in.
Yeah, he's all in. I think he actually likes the raucous crowd like that and the challenge to them and to get them to think and engage with them. I think he really relishes that. So this is a strong point. He's the best retail politician we have seen in our lifetime. He is amazing in front of those types of crowds.
Well, take a look at this Fox News poll. This is Choice of President. One shows how people are looking at a 5-candidate matchup. So that's kind of important because RFK is on the ballot, I believe, in, what's it up to, half the states? 43% to Trump, 40% for Biden, 11% for RFK. Then you have Cornel West and Jill Stein. Do you think there is a prospect for, as you mentioned, I think most conservative Republicans have some strong libertarian streak in them. Yeah. But I don't know how that works electorally. Will they actually vote Republican? Will they vote for Donald Trump? Does the pitch work to bring some libertarians to Donald Trump?
Well, they do. I think the biggest problem is Joe Biden because they're pulling people from Joe Biden in a big way. But is it accretive to what Joe Biden or what Donald Trump's trying to do? Absolutely. I think people look at it at the end of the day and say, we can't afford Joe Biden. I wish our candidate had a better shot, but the reality is it's going to be Biden or Trump. I'm going with Trump because he's going to help tear down that morass, that swamp that is Washington, D.C. Yeah. That's really in the heart of what libertarians want to get rid of.
For what it's worth, Jason just made an awesome point to me in the commercial break ahead of time about Joe Biden's speech and the number of falsehoods he claimed in not going to West Point because of Roger Staubach. We'll break all that down a little bit later here in the show, but Jason had some good insight. And by the way, for more of that good insight, you should check Jason out because he's on the big weekend show tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.